unit. That means a special prize is waiting for you inside the tower. We look forward to serving you.
Alert. Enemy caution level rising. Cause is most likely concern over Unit 9S gaining access to tower.
I see.
Out of my way! Damn it! They won't stop coming!
Alert. Allied signal detected.
Allies?
A2? What?
Wait, you?
Huh?
9S, we've been expecting you.
Huh?
The two of us will take things from here.
I'm...
We need to open the door to the tower.
Huh? I was...
Devola?
What?
Popola? What are you doing here?
Remember
Better
your
question
promise?
is...
What are you talking
What the fuck
about?
were they insinuating
Come on,
at the
IS.
door there? Like,
Hack
we
in
have
while
been
you can.
expecting you.
None of this makes any sense!
What
We'll
is...
explain everything once we're inside.
I think I have to... I think I may have fucked up something, actually. This is a different OST. I think I may have fucked up something.
We've got this, 9S.
I shouldn't have killed the
You
enemies.
Just focus on hacking.
Maybe if I stand, like, on the very corner. Okay, that I did not expect the slightest. Popola and Devola coming. But that fucking... We have been expecting you. Like... Are Devola and Popola behind this somehow? Surely not. That... What
You
the fuck?
need to hack the tower lock open.
Like... I don't know, that doesn't make sense. Surely we are gonna be told something, right? Surely.
What's this barrier?
Analysis. It is part of a closed defensive system.
Well, how do I break it down?
Hypothesis. Unit 9S could permit his self-consciousness data to lose control. The resulting energy surge has an acceptable probability of temporarily paralyzing the barrier.
That's almost as bad as not going in at all!
What happened?
It's the barrier.
Popola!
No, don't! She can't do anything! The wall's got a self-closing
Enough!
algorithm!
Devola and I, we have to atone for our sins no matter what!
But if you do that, your circuits will...
Devola! Right.
Devola!
I hope you don't regret this.
I'm not sure what to say. Also, I didn't pay enough attention to see which one of them was Devola and Popola. I'm gonna confuse them all the time. Well, I'm just gonna say, so, whatever. Popola was the one who basically sacrificed, like, part of her, like, consciousness, I suppose, or self-consciousness, in order to break the barrier. our models. Talking here. So could it be replaced or repaired? Oh, I was about to say, like, what the fuck, man? Like this bugged or something. Okay. Right, here's the thing. They said earlier that they were in a hurry in the desert because daylight was running out. It was gonna be dark and then they wouldn't be able to see where they're going. So there is a sense of urgency in this one, where I feel like it might actually be better on almost this. But because of what this line is trying to say, judging by Devola's current lack of ambulatory control, I imagine the circuitry underneath has been damaged as well. So this basically slows their movement as well, I would assume. So both of these options aren't ideal, obviously, but this one is more ideal because their movement is already slowed by Devola's condition. So this is the correct choice. Okay, so it didn't end up mattering whichever one we choose. We just spent more time when we checked the wound out. If we just tied another bandage and just continued walking, we would have the same result. And then later, they would be able to check if the inside circuitry was damaged or not when they were in a safer position, so that choice didn't make any difference almost. Okay, before this continues, there is one very annoying thing about this game's character development or character arcs that I have noticed but I haven't really talked about yet. Like, I feel like this game has two... Well, it's not that I feel, I know that this game has two big gaps between when the important characters that... or the characters that become important in the story at some point. So like Devola and Popola here are actually very important for the story for this part. Why does the player care about Devola and Popola? You know? I feel like the establishment of the player having any care or like care or compassion for some of these characters just seems to be completely missing. Like, the only times when we actually hear anything about Devola and Popola in these playthroughs is like, well, I'm using them as example now, but theirs is like a little bit better, but it's still like kind of meh. So on NieR's playthrough you meet them, well, actually no, on 2B playthrough you meet them for the first time, you barely know anything about them at all. Then on NieR's playthrough you meet them again, and I think on NieR's playthrough you got to know a little bit more because they have... Was it that playthrough or was it... Well, hold up a minute. No, it was on this C playthrough after 2B dies. You get to know a lot more about Devola and Popola because of their errands that you run for them. They have some interesting dialogue there. And then, obviously, the moment when NieR wakes up, I mean, we have the cutscene with them, and we get to talk to them some more. Like, I feel like this game does not establish strong enough connections to characters that become important in the story, is what my thesis here is. Or argument, I mean. And that is also something that kind of makes this experience, like, less coherent, I guess. It makes it feel like some stuff in the story just kind of happens and it's there just to surprise you rather than something that you can like logically expect to happen. Private quarters. Okay, so we are not in the desert anymore. Also, no, what am I saying? This novel is the past and the present or the future. Yeah, that's what. Now we are in the past again when they are safe in some city, as the like observers of the Gestalt project. So we are in the past now again, and the desert is the future from some time after. Could be very close to the present time, maybe. Maybe they wandered to the resistance camp at some point from the desert. Black Scroll. Some kind of epidemic. Or pandemic. Replicants had gained a sense of self. So the replicants here are also androids. They are not humans. Might actually be why they are called replicants. Maybe they are literally like, as the word says, like replicants of something. So as the androids are also made in the image of their human creators, the replicants are also made in the image of their human creators, and they named replicants. I wonder what explains as though why Popola and Devola, even on this like very early parts of this Gestalt project, seem to have a lot stronger consciousness level than, or conscience level than even the androids at this time when this game takes place. There has to be obviously a reason for that. That they are like this much more like emotional and empathetic. Well, I guess that's actually, well, part of their temperament as well, because they are supposed to be like healers, you know? The maintenance squad observing the project. All thanks to pair of Devola and Popola models. Okay, so they are trying to imply that Devola and Popola, like, I guess they aren't talking like literal like Devola and Popola 2 or like Devola and Popola 3, like something like that. They are just like the same model but different names, I guess. Yeah. Now we are in the future again. Devola was the one who was injured on the leg. Remember when our resistance allies injured her leg? This is not talking about the supply trader who's like, who also has like a left leg that is also injured to the point where he can't like walk normally. Because this is a her, so this would be, I mean, if this holds any significance, it has to be either actually, it could be literally anybody, but like imagine Anemone or Rose maybe. The Anemone's captain, old captain. All due to the actions of Devola and Popola models from another town. So this is the event that they were talking about, like on this C playthrough when we talk to them as 9S, and they keep like talking about this like horrific event that happened in the past that like basically terminated most of their models, and that's the reason why only them two are alive. We gathered what remaining replicant data we could find and launched it to the surface of the moon. Wait a minute. They were working with the commander on the bunker. Because the commander in the bunker says that they launched a server that sends dummy signals back to Earth and the bunker. Would this be that server? This be the replicant data be the thing that kept sending the signals? Also, they have made pretty clear that replicants and androids are different. Yeah, Devola, Popola are androids, as well as the current resistance members and Yorha members. Those are all androids, so what is the difference between replicant and android then? Maybe replicants are just the name for androids that are part of the Gestalt project itself. Maybe it's just a different. But then again, Devola and Popola are also kind of part of it. They are observing it, and they are called androids and not replicants. Also, I should be reading this more carefully. This part is important, I think. And the director hated Devola and Popola models who had snuffed out. Other androids. Is this now trying to talk about the replicants? Other androids? Or is this like other overseers or just androids that are not part of Gestalt? Our friends turned on us. Friends of what? The replicants or other androids? I'm gonna take this as other androids turned on them, not the replicants. So their sense of identity made them take responsibility for something that they had no part of. She said something in response to his taunts. Slashed her leg nearly in two. So is this the wound that's in the desert when they are walking around now? This sounds like it's a lot more severe. Because nearly in two, like, how would she be even walking? This might be unrelated. Also, is this Popola talking? Because Devola was the one who always did that smile. But now this is Popola's perspective and she's saying that her vision is narrowing, which means that she also got somehow hurt. Oh, never mind, this is her mentality just breaking, I guess. Control. Body heat? You know, 2B and 9S as well as the pod have dialogue in this game earlier that say that the androids do not actually have body heat. Like, they aren't trying to fake like human body heat. They are cold, just like the machines. So I wonder as to why Devola and Popola have body heat. I don't know, maybe it's from the sun. Like, literally, just whatever material they are made of, it conducts like the warmth from the sun very well and the ground. Doomed humanity. Really? This novel is very strongly trying to suggest the idea that the models that Devola and Popola are the main culprit behind as to why the extinction of the humanity even happened. But then again, there was that pandemic that was also, I think it was the Black Scroll or whatever, that was also killing some of the replicants. So that probably played somewhat of a role. Maybe it was global to the other observation towns as well. Why do they even care about feeling cold? Like, I get that they are like losing like heat, but like it was trying to imply that it was body heat earlier, but let's say that it isn't. Let's say it's the heat from the sun and the ground, or the sand, which is like, you know, in contact with their materials that they are made of. But why do they feel or care about cold now? Like, this is now implying that it actually is just body heat from their own bodies, but androids are cold. So why do they have body heat but most androids don't? We are closing the present, I think. Well, actually, there's more to this too. Like, a single viewing of these novels isn't really enough. There is more to this. How much time were they implying that had passed when they are wandering in the desert exactly? I don't think they tell that at any point. You just have to kind of guess. Like Devola and Popola have probably existed on the resistance camp for thousands of years even. Like, or if not thousands, then at least hundreds of years they have been there. Fuck, I wish I remembered the last 2 pages better. Although this decision probably doesn't mean anything. It's probably very insignificant. Anyway, these are like different elements here, kind of. Like, this one supports the other person's mentality, mind, spirit, while this one supports the other person's body and morality. Solidarity, I suppose. Any others as well, which I will not list. I chose this that option because I felt like the moment called for more emotional support rather than physical. The bots learn about this at the same time. The failure to manage the area resulted in the collapse of Gestalt system. That's putting it very mildly. Due to the discovery of its instability, the twin system was removed. The game still has not told us the reason as to why some of the twins, like, became twisted in their purpose. Although there are many examples of this in the game, like yesterday with the Pascals and the children machines in that one building in the factory, where we had this conversation with Pascal where he taught all the children as well as the other machines in the village what fear is, for example. And that, according to Pascal and A2, may have caused the children to fear so much of the unknown and the uncertainty of their fate that they would rather kill themselves because they felt that that was easier than living in fear. Because what they had been told was inadequate amount of information that was not varied enough for with its reasoning. So it's not that somebody like Pascal there did wrong to tell them what fear is, because that would also help them to keep them alive and help with their self-preservation and their own like sense of self, but and their own values and whatnot. So that is not wrong, but what he should have also foreseen, which he may not have, is what the effects of what he tells them or teaches might have. And that then we go to them, you know, what if or could have happened territory again, where you just simply do not know because you don't have enough knowledge or experience to know something like that. So it might be the same possibly here as well. Like maybe like Devola and Popola, at least the ones we know, like they are very compassionate, very emotional, and they are mainly driven by the care that they have for the subjects under their maintenance. So that sets up a pretty good base for them to do something radical, possibly, if they are so driven by their emotions. That seems to be 9S, for example, now too. But the difference between 9S and Devola and Popola are the fact that 9S is mostly more obliged to what he was made for, and then he gains consciousness. Later, his character develops, while Devola and Popola seem to have already been implanted with the knowledge of what conscience is, and they were trying to imitate it from the get-go, which is why they seem to have been so much more developed in their sense of selves and identity than the androids are. Underwent a memory wipe. What? Is this talking about all of the Devola Popola models? Or is this talking about the Devola and Popola we know? They don't sound like their memory was wiped. Like they know too much. They know way too much. They do have that dialogue where they say that something happened with the same models that they were, but so that makes sense that they don't know what it was. That is also supporting the same thesis here as them just knowing what they have been told rather than from experience. But then from experience they do tell in their dialogue that they must atone for their sins. Even the cutscene there earlier where they say basically minus because they think that it's their obligation to atone for their sins and make the ultimate sacrifice to help the cause. So that does not support this idea. That makes it seem like they know from experience as well as in some emotional level that they are somehow responsible for what happened. Furthermore, they were... Oh, well. If I just pressed X one more time, my thesis completely breaks. Okay, well. They were reprogrammed to generate constant feelings of guilt. Okay, well, that explains as to why they seem so much more emotionally intelligent than the androids. Okay.
That is all that remains from their personal record during the era in which they were referred to as administrators.
Watch the final moments of Devola and Popola
Why
achievement.
do the androids Devola and Popola seem to prefer death over surviving alone? There was a very high probability that at least one could have escaped.
I hope you never have to understand.
Affirmative.